Hello, this is Sharon Hughson, author and writing coach, coming to you today to talk to you about why I write and why you should know why you write. So, why do I write? I have written for a lot of different reasons throughout my lifetime, and that's why it's really important once you discover your why now that, you don't just rely on that being your why. Maybe your why will change. So when I started writing seriously about 12 years ago, my why was that I was working with a lot of middle school kids who had a lot of issues, and I saw that they loved some stories the same way that I had loved Chronicles of Narnia and other stories, especially fantasy stories, when I was their age. And I remembered that it was a difficult time of my life. My parents were getting divorced, then my mom started dating someone, got remarried, I got stepbrothers. It was not a fun time. There was a lot of things I didn't like about my life. So I escaped into fiction. And those books saved me from a worse path. And that is why I first started writing. I wanted to write those young adult fantasy stories with an allegorical message that was really not even known maybe to the young adult readers. But if an adult picked it up, they'd go, oh, wait, this is allegorical. And that they would have a message of hope, a message that so the kids could go and they could be the hero of their story by being the hero with this person, usually an underdog, an unlikely hero who overcomes and becomes the hero at the end, of course. Epic! And I wrote those for a couple years. I pitched those to agents. I went to conferences. That was my thing. As a matter of fact, I have about 6 young adult fantasy novels on my hard drive right now that have never seen a second or third pass because they were just me getting the story out, and I was waiting until I got the agent for the first one. And what happened was that I was connecting with a lot of indie authors at that time, and they had small presses that they were working with, and so they would send me submission calls. Well, the submission calls a lot of times were for a fantasy romance, not necessarily young adult fantasy. And so what I ended up doing was submitting to one of those, getting accepted, and it was exciting to be published. And I thought, okay, I just want to be published, so I will write these stories. And so the next thing I know, I have a dozen romance novellas published, and I'm going, wait, I didn't even want to be a romance author. What am I doing right now? And then 2020 came and I lost all my rights, got handed back to me. A publisher went out of business, yada, yada. And so there I'm sitting going, well, what's the point? The point is I lost sight of the why I wrote. It wasn't fun. It wasn't exciting to write anymore. And yes, writing's a lot of work. We will talk about that here on this channel. But the most important thing I want you to understand today is that you need to know why you write, and you need to never lose sight of it. Okay, that's great, Sharon, but how do I figure out why I write? Well, here's my tip for you. Get out a journal, write, I write because, and just finish the sentence. Write as much as you can, and then stay again. I write because, and go with a different thing. I write because, and just keep doing it until you feel like you've got it, you've exhausted it, you know why. Then you go, I write because, and write that answer. This is important because, why does this matter? And keep writing about that one that you decided on your why, and why that matters, why that's important, what the difference it's going to make in the world. And maybe your why is because you've had some things happen in your life and you need to share those with other people so that they can learn from your experience. And that's your why. And that's great. So what do I mean when I say knowing your why will keep you on the straight path? So if that's your why, when someone else says, oh, I hear you write stuff, could you write a story for my Journal, but hey, the thing is about hope. If you can't put your story that you need to tell because you know sharing that is what's going to help people, you need to be able to say, no, sorry, that doesn't align with my why. One thing I did for many years was I would have a mission statement about my why I was writing. And that kept me going on the days when it was hard. That's another reason to know your why, because it will get hard. It won't always be easy. There will be days when you do not want to show up at the page. But if you know why you're doing this, okay? And for many years when I was writing romance, my why was because I had a contract and I needed to get this done. And I was still excited about a lot of my stories then. Don't get me wrong, but I had lost the why that I had started with. Or maybe it had changed, because now when I'm looking at it and going, is my why to write young adult? Well, not really. I like reading young adult fantasies. And fantasy really is my favorite genre, but writing it is really difficult. So my why might not be about that. But what should I write? Once you know your why, it will help you figure out your what. And that is what we will talk about next time. So until then, my friend, figure out your why. Take the time that you need to know solidly, this is why I write. So we can talk about what you should write now that you know why you're writing. If you're looking for a group of like-minded writers, serious writers, join my free coaching group on Facebook, Write Your Book Nook. The link is down below. And make sure you follow my newsletter so that you will get writing tips and encouragement every couple weeks from me direct to your inbox. That link is also below. And hey, if you think that you want to follow this, want to learn more from me based on my experience, then hit the subscribe button and I will see you next time.